So now I kind of got a new situation. You can see here, I'm trying to fit the F-150 Lightning into my garage, and it is super, super tight. I think right there, I've got like 2 inches maybe. When I close the garage door, I think I'll have like maybe 2 inches between the bumper and the garage door. And then if we go up here to the front, I mean, it's like almost right up against the wall. So it does fit, but this truck obviously is longer than the last truck that I parked in here, which was a crew cab Ram 1500 short box, a 2022 model. You probably remember that truck from the channel. It was the black Laramie that I had. Same configuration as this truck, but it fit in here a little bit better than this. This one is going to literally be wall to wall by the time I get it in here. And the problem with that is, I mean, it fits, but you have no room for error. You know, you pull in here at the end of the day and you're just going to have no room for error. If I go 2 inches too far forward, I'm going to hit the wall, and that's an exterior wall. So that's bad news. If I don't pull in far enough and I'm not thinking about it, and I close the garage door, it's going to smack the bumper and tear something up, which isn't good either. So now I have some decisions to make. Do I try to make this work, or am I going to have to call an audible here and get my charge station installed somewhere else tomorrow? Because I was going to have the guys put it on the wall right here. You know, this is all stuff that's just temporarily moved out of the way, but normally the wife parks over here. And so, you know, that was the thinking, is if we put the charge station in the center of the wall back here, obviously I have perfect access to it with my truck, but if she were to ever get an EV one day, then she could use it too, because her charge port probably, depending on what side of the vehicle it's on, it'll be here or there. So she would have good access to it also. So that was the thinking. But if I feel like it's just too risky to try and pull this truck in here every day on a daily basis, and so I end up having to park it out here more often, then maybe I would want to put my charge station over there in the corner, over there somewhere, and that way, you know, when I pull up here, I can just get my cord right out there. I don't know, but I'm a little surprised right now. This is obviously a short box truck. I didn't expect it to be that tight. I mean, when we built this house, I told them that I wanted the dimensions of the garage to be stretched out a little bit, because I had planned to park full-size trucks in here, and so they did. They made it a little bit bigger than the standard plan, but as you can see, it's still kind of an issue. So I don't know. I'm going to sit here for a minute and think about this and decide what I want to do, because like I said, the electrician's coming tomorrow to put the charge station in, so I got to figure out where I want it. Yeah, I mean, I just manually pulled the garage door down. Look at how much space I've got there. I could probably maybe put my thumb between the garage door and the truck. I mean, that's just so tight, man. It's just so tight. And like I said, up here in the front, you know, I'm up against the wall. I actually raised this shelf up so that the hood could go under it on purpose to be able to do this. So, man, I don't know. I just don't know. This truck is bigger than a Ram 1500. I can tell you that for sure. And now you can see why I never even attempted to put the Super Duty in here. I mean, it would be a complete no-go. Oh, man. Decisions. All right, so the electrician came today, and what I decided to do was to go ahead and put the charging station back here on the wall, right in the middle of the garage, like I was talking about. They did a really good job. This was the hardwired kit, so it's on a 60 amp circuit. It's going to give it all the juice that the truck will accept. So I already tested it out, and when this thing is turned on, it'll charge the truck at like 10 to 11 kilowatt hours, which again is all the truck's going to accept with a setup like this. So I got that done, and now, like I said, in the future, if my wife decides to get a little EV car, she always parks over here on this side and she can get to it. And of course I park over here and shoehorn the F-150 into here, and it's got perfect access. So that'll be a nice spot for it right back there on the wall. And it's gonna be so nice to be able to fully charge the truck overnight instead of having to wait like 3 or 4 days, you know? So I'm wore out, but I got that done today. And also found the Husky floor liners were on sale. So I went ahead and picked up a set of these Husky weather beater floor liners because the Ford ones were carpet and that's just worthless. I like how these have this nice lip right here. So all the junk off my boots this winter will not come out. It'll kind of stay in there until I drag this thing out and decide to clean it. So happy to have that. And you know, when the dogs ride with us, here's the one in the rear. I mean, it looks really nice. And it covers like way up underneath the back seats too. And Amazon had a sale on these. The whole set was like 120 bucks. Couldn't beat it for a good name brand like this, you know. So those will last me the entire time that I have this truck. And then the final thing that I did was I went ahead and picked up a new generator cable. So that Harbor Freight Predator inverter generator that I've got, it has this kind of a fitting on the end. And that is a 530, a NEMA 530 fitting. I didn't realize this adapter was going to come with this kit, by the way. So the truck uses a 1430. So I went ahead and bought one of these kits, and it's got, like I said, the 1430 on both ends. So I can plug the truck up to the house, or like I said, I didn't know this adapter came with the kit, so I could also use this cord with my portable generator as well. But that's really nice because about, I don't know, 2 years ago, I had an electrician come out and wire this up for me so that I can just plug straight into the house. And then, you know, there's the fuse panel right there. So I can hook my truck directly into this and power the whole house very easily now that I got this cable, because this one already had the NEMA 1430 in there. So that's pretty cool. And the cable that I bought was a 15-foot cable. You know, most of these that you find are 10-foot, but I decided to get one that's a little bit longer. This one's a 15 because I figured, you know, let's say the weather's really, really bad, and if the electricity goes out, usually it's because the weather's really, really bad. And let's say I've got the truck parked over here, right, where I normally park. I could leave the truck up in the garage, and then I've got enough cable to make it over here to the port. So, point being, I don't have to leave the truck sitting outside to use it to power the house. That was the idea there. I didn't want to go with a 20-foot cable, even though they offered it, because once you start talking about high voltage like this, the longer the cable, the more risk you run of having problems. So, I stuck with a 15. So yeah, those are the things I did today. Now, I've got to find a bed cover, and I got to decide what kind of bed cover I want. And that's the next thing I really need to do so I can keep my stuff out of the weather. The other thing I would like to get is a bug shield for this truck. And the reason why is the front of this thing is already getting completely lit up with bugs. And if you see a bunch of bugs on your truck like this, that means you're also, whether you realize it or not, getting beat up with rocks and pebbles and debris out on the road. The aero around this truck is very different than, say, an ICE F-150. I can tell because when I drive this thing, I hear a tremendous amount of wind noise coming up over here and hitting the mirror. So the front of this truck's going to be susceptible to a lot of junk, obviously. And I don't know if you can get a bug shield for these because of the way they're made, but I think you can. I think I've seen a couple of these trucks with them. I don't know how you would install it. I'm going to have to do some research on that because obviously the hood is not a separate piece like it is on an ICE F-150. So I got to figure that out too. But yeah, I would like to get some kind of protection for the front there, because I can just tell this thing is going to get beat all to pieces. Yeah, so let's see where we're at now. So before, it would take, I don't know, 2.5 days maybe. And now it says it's charging at 10.9 kilowatts, and it'll be at 90% at 9:32 p.m. today. So it is 5 p.m. right now. Let me turn this air conditioning off. It's 5 p.m. right now. So basically, it says we're going to go from 54% to 90% in about, what, 4.5 hours, something like that. So again, this is going to be a complete game changer. Yeah, I mean, the reason this is a total game changer is because, like I said, it just gets you, you know, some more peace of mind. You know, like, look, I plugged this thing up and look, it's already 4/5 of the way charged up, and this has just been going for a couple of hours. So, like I said before, I think it is such an awesome thing that Ford covers this with the sale or lease of one of these trucks, because, I mean, this charger right here is a $500 charger, plus you got the installation. You know, they had 2 guys here for 3.5 hours working on this, you know, so you're talking several $100s at least in labor costs, plus all the conduit and wire and, you know, the breakers are pretty expensive these days. So I mean, when you put it all together, this is easily a 4-figure installation here that Ford covered at no additional cost to me whatsoever. And it's just complete and total game changer, and makes one of these vehicles viable for a lot more people. So again, I keep kicking this dead horse, but this is a great promotion that Ford is doing. You got 4 more weeks, guys, if you want one of these F-150 Lightning pickup trucks. 4 more weeks until the tax rebate and all the big discounts and everything goes away. So you need to head to the dealership, talk to them about it. I'll tell you what, you know, I really do like this truck. It's comfortable. It's got a lot of cool features. Like I keep saying, it's just a really nice truck. And, you know, I'm interested in seeing how this thing does this winter. We're going to have another fierce winter coming up, just like we had last year. It's going to be interesting to see how this thing can handle the really, really cold temperatures. And, you know, snow and ice and all that kind of stuff. But more so, what I'm concerned about is just the cold temperatures. You go below 0, and, you know, these batteries might react a little different. I'm going to have to learn more about preconditioning and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how the cabin heat is in this truck in the middle of winter. I know in the owner's manual they recommend that you just use like the heated steering wheel and the heated seat to try and warm yourself up. Well, that's all fine and good on a 20 or 30 degree day, but when it's -10 outside, that ain't going to cut it. You know, you're going to have some heat blowing into the cab. So anyway, that's coming up in a few months. It's going to be interesting to see. But if I get through the winter and this truck is still doing great for me, I think I'm going to be a super happy camper. And then I will definitely be a believer in these trucks. So we'll see. Time will tell. But for now, that's what I got. A few more goodies for the Lightning today. So next thing I got to do is hook up my huge trailer. I got a big 26-footer down there, parked way down over the hill. I got to go down there and hook this thing up and do some towing with it. But I got to take some measurements of my hitch first, because I got to set all my weight distribution and all that stuff back up again, because I don't think this truck is as high as the Super Duty. I mean, the Super Duty sat pretty high. Plus, I had 35-inch tires on it for a while, so I'm going to have to set all that back up again. It's going to take a little time. But I do want to hook the 26-footer up to this and do some tow testing, see what kind of efficiency I can get. If I can get anything from 1.0 and better, I'll be really happy with that, because that'll basically mean I can go 100 miles before stopping to charge. That'll make the trips that I do doable, you know. So we'll see. That's coming up in a future video. But for now, that's all I got. We'll talk to you guys later.